The physiology of nerve goes by neurons communicate with each other across the synapse that involves the axon terminal of the presynaptic neuron and the postsynaptic receptors of the dendrites or the cell body of postsynaptic neuron. The impulses reaches presynaptic membrane. There is release of neurotransmitter from the vesicles to the synaptic cleft, wherein the neurotransmitters diffuses across the synaptic cleft to the postsynaptic receptor and it binds to the receptors. Thereby opening of ion-gated channels, that is neurotransmitter will either destroy by an enzyme in the synaptic cleft or it will get replaced back into the presynaptic membrane. There is depolarization or hyperpolarization occurring depending upon the neurotransmitter. Now here there is acetylcholine or norepinephrine as neurotransmitter. Then the neurons communicate with the muscles at the neuromuscular junction. Then there will be a postsynaptic response. It could be either excitatory or inhibitory postsynaptic potentials. Now, a single presynaptic terminal cannot generate enough depolarization or the threshold potential to cause depolarization and action potential. So, multiple signals are submitted at the axon hillock, and when the summation exceeds the threshold, the depolarization results in action potential. The resting membrane potential of neuron is minus 70 millivolts, and here potassium permeability is more. So, what are leaky channels? Now, leaky channels are the plasma membrane that doesn't have any gates, hence the ions always keeps on influxed and exfluxed. The leaky channels keeps on transferring ions, the sodium ion and potassium ions, thereby altering the resting membrane potential. So there is influx of sodium and efflux of potassium. But when the sodium-potassium pump is here, then there is no worries because it asks 1 ATP to throw out 3 sodium and influx 2 potassium. Thereby potassium permeability will keep on increasing more than sodium, hence regulating regularizing the resting membrane potential. At the resting stage, we see that only the specific threshold stimulus, that is of minus 55 to minus 65 millivolts, will make the neuron work to transmit the impulses by following the all or none law. Hence, once the threshold stimulus is reached, there is opening of voltage-gated sodium channels, and then influx of sodium causes membrane to depolarize and action potential is generated. Later, when there is opening of voltage-gated potassium channels, there is efflux of the potassium and repolarization happens. So the membrane resting stage was polarized at minus 70 millivolts. Then with the threshold stimulus of minus 55 to minus 65 millivolts, there is opening of voltage-gated sodium channel, and then there is depolarization. So at the plus 35 millivolts. Then on the threshold stimulus reaching the voltage potassium channels causing repolarization, potassium channels also then stayed open for a long period of time, causing polarization occur at minus 90 millivolts. So every membrane wants to get back to its resting phase, but when we look at the repolarized state and the resting membrane state, the charges appear same, but the ions have been differentiated. So repolarization has potassium outside and sodium inside. We have to balance it out via the sodium-potassium pump. That happens with the 1 ATP, removing the 3 sodium out and influx the 2 potassium in.